दर्शकहरू नमस्ते। तपाईहरु हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ AIM अनलाइन टेलिभिजनबाट कार्यक्रम कफी विथ अरुण। अनि आज हामीले सधैँ विभिन्न व्यक्तित्वहरूलाई लिएर आउने क्रममा चाहिँ आज हामीसँग हुनुहुन्छ एकजना विशेष व्यक्तित्व जो चाहिँ विदेशी हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँ चाहिँ UK बाट आउनु भएको। अनि उहाँसँग उहाँको विभिन्न क्रियाकलापहरू विभिन्न कामहरूको कारणले गर्दा चाहिँ हामी अलिकति इम्प्रेस भएर चाहिँ अनि उहाँको कतिवटा कुराहरू चाहिँ हामी उहाँसँग गर्न चाहिरहेका थियौं। र उहाँको व्यस्तताको बावजुद पनि उहाँले हामीलाई यो विशेष समय दिनुभएको छ, जसले गर्दाखेरि आज हामी चाहिँ बल्ल उहाँलाई भेटेर चाहिँ यो कुराहरू गर्दैछौँ। उहाँ चाहिँ हुनुहुन्छ एलन। सो उहाँसँग हामी उहाँको अनुभव, नेपालमा बस्दाखेरिको अनुभवहरू अनि कतिवटा कुराहरू चाहिँ हामी उहाँसँग आज प्रत्यक्ष वार्तालाप गर्नेछौँ है त। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट आवर प्रोग्राम। Namaste, Alan ji. Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
So can we start with your introduction, please?
Oh, well, originally I was born in France, and I left France when I was 21, and I trained as a graphic designer for advertising. I had a very successful job when I left, but my choice was to go to Great Britain, so I moved to England in 1977, and carried on working in advertising, and I trained as interior design and graphic design and jewelry design, fashion design. I mean, it was basically art-based education. And after a few years in England of working really hard for people I didn't really like or respected in advertising, I took a year off. And I started to travel all around Southeast Asia, and I traveled around India in 1979, 1980, and I arrived in Nepal, and I fell in love with Nepal. Okay. That's it. Okay. In the blood.
So how did you know about Nepal?
I knew nothing about Nepal.
Okay.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I just arrived with a rucksack. I was on a very tight budget. Traveling at that time is not like today when the tourists start traveling with their mobile phone, they are in touch with their culture all the time. We had nothing like that. 1979, 1980, we were travelers. We were there to discover and understand other cultures.
Now these days, I mean, how busy you are?
I'm under lockdown. I came in February this year, and a few days after I was in lockdown, so I was supposed to go back in April, and look, we are in July, and my plane, I managed to get the first seat available on the plane leaving Nepal on the 16th of August. So hey, I love Nepal. So I have been busy because I'm staying in a little village, in Ite village, which we talked about before. I love very much. It's a small community. I think if I had been in lockdown in Kathmandu, I would have jumped off a roof. I would have gone crazy, you know. I love Kathmandu and I've got many friends there. But here in the village we have the school as sponsor, and the school I work with because of all the children I educate who are being there. So I can visit. It's literally 100 meters away from here. So I go there, I interact with the people, I have a little garden, I've got this little house, I go into the jungle, I go and talk to the tree. I'm very busy. Okay. I love it. I don't have a problem with being here.
Did you know anything about Nepal? I mean, did you hear something about Nepal?
No.
Nothing.
Yes, that it's got the highest mountains in the world. You've got Annapurna, you've got Everest. I am not a walker particularly. I'm not a trekker. I mean, trekking didn't exist at the time. It's a new name for commercial purposes. It's basically walking. But I'm not particularly a walker. I'm not lazy, but I'm not into mountains. I'm into culture and I'm into people.
Okay.
I'm not into taking pictures of temples and sculptures and editing out the people. It's the other way. Okay. If I'm going to take a temple, I like to have people in it to actually make sense of it. People interest me.
Okay.
I learn a lot from that.
Okay, at the beginning, I mean, how you fall in love with Nepal? I mean, is there any particular things that it's really captured you?
When I arrived in Nepal, it's a very long story, but I was supposed to go back into India and my visa expired. So I was in Sri Lanka and I could not fly back. I could not go back into India to travel. So my visa finished in Sri Lanka as well. So I was thrown out of Sri Lanka and I was not allowed to go back into India. So I had to fly out that same day, and the only plane available, and that's Bhagwan talking. The only plane available was from Colombo to Kathmandu.
Okay.
Not my choice. I mean, I knew I was going to go to Nepal eventually, but I didn't plan it for several months. So I landed in Kathmandu, and you know, the airport was grass. They rang a bell to get the cows and the goats out of the way, and we landed on this kind of very rough landing, and I had goosebumps. My reaction, my body's reaction, which never lies to me. I had goosebumps, you know, like shivers of happiness and goodness. I felt there was something different here. And I've never recovered from that. I still feel the same. So that was the first sign. I knew I was going to come to Nepal, but in those circumstances it was quite something.
Okay.
I'm very worried about the way the world goes at the moment. I'm nervous about going back to England because the way I listen to programs and friends commenting about the coronavirus and the pandemic, as I call it, because it doesn't make sense, and the restrictions and everything, and the people are so scared about what's going on. I am going back to a country that I'm going to have issues about settling back in, because this is not the country I left. You know, in those few months of horrors, of media frenzy, it's quite a worry. But here I'm very happy, especially in a village, because there's no restrictions apart from anything.
So दर्शकहरू अहिले मसँग हुनुहुन्छ एलन, अनि उहाँले चाहिँ नेपालमा निकै लामो समयदेखि नै आफ्नो जीवनलाई चाहिँ यहाँ हामी नेपालीहरुको लागि समर्पित गरेर धेरै कुराहरू जस्तो सोशल वर्क, स्कुलको एक्टिभिटिजहरुमा, स्कुलको कार्यक्रमहरुमा उहाँले धेरै ठूलो योगदान उहाँले दिइराख्नु भएको छ। सो यो सबै कुरा देख्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामी नेपालीहरुमा त्यो मन अनि त्यो हृदय कहिले आउने? तर जब उहाँहरु जस्तो व्यक्तित्वहरु हामी जब कुरा गर्छौं हैन, गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ उहाँहरुले गर्नुभएको जुन चाहिँ सैक्रिफाइस, उहाँले गर्नुभएको त्यो बलिदानहरु देख्दाखेरि चाहिँ when हामी वी नेपाली हामीले चाहिँ कहिले चाहिँ यो कुरा अगाडि बढाउन सक्छौं हैन? What you're actually doing here in Nepal right these days? You're involving in the different sector, right?
I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah, I mean, you're not only in the education field, but you're doing different things.
No, I do other things. So when I traveled for a year around Southeast Asia, and I eventually arrived in Nepal, I had a rucksack with a little bit of money that I saved, and I met some amazing craftsmen in Jawalakel. They were Tibetan refugees at the time, who I got a friendship with them. There was something that happened, and I say, oh, Bhagwan, you know, sometimes we are put in a place at a particular time for a particular reason. Now, I didn't really know that at the time. Now I know it's obvious, but at the time I did not know. But I started a very loving and very honest and respectful friendship with them. And they were producing carpets, very bad quality for the tourists, but they had another production that was very high quality with proper dyes, proper design, and this is what I wanted to help them with.
Okay.
So that's how it started. My mom passed away of cancer after a very long illness, just a few months before I traveled. So I just, as I said, I'm not interested in accumulating money. To me, if I have money, I just give it. I don't just throw it. I just give it. I like to share it. And I thought, well, if I start a sponsorship for those people so they can stop producing such terrible work, but concentrate on producing something of high quality with traditional design, traditional crafts, traditional manufacturing they are proud of. I can represent their culture through good work. I am not a businessman, but I'm prepared to start something to help.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Okay.
We opened a bank account in Kathmandu for them, and I said, when I'm going back to England, I will transfer money into your account, and then please produce whatever you can within that budget, and send the goods to me. Just because other tourists think it's wonderful, I don't like it. So please respect yourself. Don't send me rubbish, because it will be returned, and that's the end of the relationship. It has to be based on trust. I trust you. I want to help you, but hey, it has to work both ways. I will not promote bad work.
Okay.
And when I came back to England, eventually they sent the goods, which were beautiful rugs, and I sold everything very quickly because I was telling my friends about the people, their traditions, their needs to be recognized as good craftsmen, to be paid proper wages, all the questions that people don't ask when they're buying goods in the West. They go shop and say, oh, I like it, I don't like it, I like it, or it's too much, it's not enough, but that's all. It's all about goods. What I was giving is information. And I could only give information because I had it. Because most shops in the West have no information. They buy their clothes or their whatever goods, their tables, their carpets from a warehouse in London or Paris or wherever. They have no idea how it's been made. They have no idea where it's been made a lot of the time. All they know is the price will, the cost will bring them a profit. So actually it was a shock for all the people I showed those carpets, because they love the rugs. But what they loved also is all the information behind. So suddenly it wasn't just a rug they were looking at. There was the whole culture. There were real faces. I had pictures of old ladies spinning the wool. I had the men doing the dyes. It made sense, and they said, my goodness, this is incredible. All the information that you will never get in a department store in the West.
त दर्शकहरू हामीले उहाँको मुखबाट सुन्यौँ होइन, उहाँ चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ नेपाल आउनुभयो अनि कुन तरिकाबाट चाहिँ नेपालमा उहाँको इन्भल्भमेन्ट सुरु भयो होइन। उहाँ एउटा रुकसेट बोकेर अनि उहाँसँग प्रशस्त पैसा पनि थिएन, तर एउटा सानो अमाउन्टबाट उहाँले चाहिँ यहाँ आइसकेपछि उहाँ यहाँको एक्चुअल कल्चरहरूलाई उहाँले कसरी निहालेर हेर्नुभयो अनि कसरी चाहिँ त्यो कुरालाई उहाँले फलो गर्दै अनि त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ उहाँले एउटा एक प्रकारको कामलाई चाहिँ नेपालसँग आबद्ध भएर नेपाललाई एउटा नेपालीहरूको त्यो फेसेसमा देखिएको कुराहरू, त्यो सबै कुरालाई चाहिँ उहाँले कसरी समेट्नुभयो अनि अगाडि बढाउनु भयो, त्यो कुराहरू अहिले हामी गर्दैछौँ होइन। अनि अझै उहाँबाट के कुराहरू हामी सुन्नेछौँ। So as you said that you are doing some sponsors also, right?
Yes,
students.
Yes.
So how many students you have right
now? At
the
moment I've got 19 children.
19 children.
19, 1, 9.
It's a 100% sponsor or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. The majority of the children I look after with my very small charity. I mean, it's mostly my money, but we have a few friends who actually put money in also to help. But it's backed up by me only, because if those people are not going to give, then I have to stop everything. So I don't rely on people giving me money. I do it myself. So I've got 19 children, most of them boys and girls. It seems to be more girls than boys, but it's not for any particular reason. There are children who are either orphans, or they have parents, but the parents have disappeared, so they've been abandoned. Or in many cases, the father would have been alcoholic, violent. So the mother would have left, sometimes with the children, very often without, trying to find a new husband and a new life because they are young enough. Yeah. This is Nepal, come on, it's everywhere. Yeah. And also I get recommended some children who've been abandoned, because I'm not advertising for children to look after. Come on, I don't have unlimited amount of funds. So I can only do it. And sometimes it's heartbreaking, because I have to say I cannot. I am in a position where I will do what I can. And there is a contract, unwritten contract, not with the child or the parents. There is something that is higher than us that gives us choices and or makes us choose. And my choice and my contract is to help that child until that child is independent.
Okay.
Right. So I will look after their health issues, which a lot of them have. Certainly the educational issues, their welfare. So that's why they are in boarding school and not in a government school. I mean, it would be nice if government school had rooms, because it would be very much cheaper. But most of the children I have nowhere to go. They might have an auntie or an uncle somewhere, but mostly they are not wanted. So they have to be safe. So their welfare is not just about education, it's about the safety,
Right.
making sure that those children don't get trafficked, because you know about the trafficking of children, Nepalese especially,
Yes.
especially during the earthquakes.
Yes.
Unbelievable, the amount of trafficking. So I cannot look after everybody, but I do what I can. So yes, I've got 19 children, and I help other people as well. I help adults as well, but 19 children that are under my care.
सो दर्शकहरू, अहिले म उहाँसँग कुरा गर्ने क्रममा मैले उहाँको आँखामा त्यो एउटा वेदना रुवाई मैले देखेँ। उहाँ कुरा गर्दा गर्दै त्यो एउटा भित्रदेखिको एउटा इच्छा, मन अनि मान्छेहरूप्रतिको एउटा दुःखदायक कुरालाई चाहिँ उहाँले कसरी चाहिँ आफ्नो हृदयमा लिनुहुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ अहिले मैले कुरा गर्दाखेरि देखेँ। अनि उहाँले चाहिँ स्पेसली 19 जना विद्यार्थीहरूलाई चाहिँ उहाँले 100% स्पोन्सर गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। तर त्यस बाहेक पनि उहाँले चाहिँ विभिन्न सेक्टरमा, विभिन्न ठाउँमा चाहिँ उहाँले धेरै सहयोगहरू गरिसक्नुहुन्छ। म तपाईहरुलाई यही भन्न चाहन्छु कि हामी नेपालीहरूको हृदयमा यो कहिले आउने, हामीले यो अरूलाई सहायता गरौँ, अरू अप्ठ्यारोमा परेकोलाई हामीले सहयोग गरौँ भन्ने हाम्रो हृदय चाहिँ कहिले हुने। जबकि एउटा विदेशबाट आएको मान्छेले नेपालमा बसेर नेपालीहरूको वेदनालाई बुझेर यस्तो खालको हृदय लिएर उहाँले गर्न चाहन्छ, तर हामीमा चाहिँ यो कुराहरू कहिले आउने। त्यसैले यो चाहिँ तपाईँ अनि मेरो लागि एउटा ठुलो प्रश्न चिन्ह छ हैन। जब म उहाँसँग कुरा गर्दै थिएँ, उहाँले त्यो सबै कुरा भन्नुभयो, आमा बुवाले छोडेको अनि ट्राफिकिङमा परेको कुराहरू, अनि त्यसपछि विभिन्न सेक्टरमा दुःख पाएको नानीहरूलाई चाहिँ उहाँले हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ हैन। अनि यो चाहिँ तपाईँ अनि मेरो लागि चाहिँ एउटा चुनौती हो। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि जतिजनाले यो इन्टरभ्यू हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईहरुले चाहिँ यो हेरेर मात्रै हेराइमा सीमित हैन, तर हामीले चाहिँ यसलाई प्र्याक्टिकल हाम्रो लाइफमा हामीले गर्नु सक्ने कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकल रूपमा अगाडि लैजान चाहिँ धेरै नै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ।
We as human beings have been given choice. And when people are complaining about their government or about their life or about their children, about their job or whatever, okay, they always have a choice, okay? Some of the choices are not necessarily obvious, they are not always easy, but you always have a choice. So I've made a choice to help others because I can, not because I have to. Nobody told me you've got to do this, you've got to do that. If you cannot see within yourself that you can make a difference to somebody else, to an animal or to a plant, when you're walking in the street and you see a plant that is like this, that needs water, if you've noticed that plant, how can you walk away from it without asking the owners to put water or for you to put water?
True.
You know, when you see an animal dying on the street, some people will laugh, won't even notice. That means you're not totally human, because everything on this planet, whether it is trees, people, animals, children, are part of the great design. Oxygen is produced by trees. Do they ask anything? No, they don't ask anything in return, but they need something from us, which is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. They need this for us. So it's an exchange. So when humanity is going to understand that we all depend on each other, then you will start having respect, and you will get your heart will open up and you will see more things. You will see the children cry. You will see an old lady who cannot cross the road on her own. You will see all sort of things, because it's not just your heart opening, but it opens your eyes also. I'm talking about her humanity includes her ability to help, because you may well be in a position to need the help from somebody else.
एउटा इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुराकानीहरू उहाँले गर्नुभयो होइन. मान्छेमा सबैभन्दा ठुलो कुरा चाहिँ मानवता चाहिँ चाहिन्छ भनेर चाहिँ उहाँले त्यो कुरा भन्नुभयो होइन. जब तपाईँको हृदय सफा छ अनि तपाईँमा मानवता छ भने तपाईँले त्यो गर्नु खोजेको कुराहरू सबै कुरा सम्भव छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ उहाँले हामीलाई अगाडि बताउनु भयो होइन.
Why do you think people like me come here? We love your country. I love your people. I love everything about Nepal except for the rubbish that's being thrown out of buses and windows and you know, I don't do that, and the corruption, of course. But listen, Nepal is no different from anywhere on this planet, but the people are different.
Okay.
And just keep it up and believe in yourself and be human, a real human.
Okay. So Alan, I really wanted to thank you for giving your
thank you for
really valuable time with
the
us.
opportunity.
So guys, as you know that we bring up with different personalities in talk show. So today we had Alan, and हामीले कुरा गरिहाल्यौँ विभिन्न कुराहरू, उहाँको अनुभव, उहाँको हरेक कुराहरूलाई हामीले आज यहाँ प्रस्तुत गरेका छौँ. So hope you guys like it. Please share, like and subscribe our channel, and we'll meet you on another episode. Thank you. Bye.